status of the Genesis Ark. Status hibernation.
Genesis Ark.
Awakening. The Genesis Ark must be protected above all else.
Ooh, most interesting.
Said they're all dead.
Whoa. This is big, man. This is big. They're coming face to face.
Identify yourselves.
You will identify first.
State your identity.
You will identify first.
He said you first.
Outline resembles the inferior species known as Cybermen.
Ooh, shots
What you
fired.
said about the Daleks.
They must need us for something.
We must protect the Genesis Ark.
The Genesis Ark.
Our species are similar.
This male registers as enemy. The female's heartbeat has increased.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Identify him.
All right then.
Hope's a good emotion. And here it comes.
Oh, it's that guy. The other guy. Mickey's partner.
Do you want to come and see?
No!
Oh.
I've got to get back. Rose is in danger, and her mother.
That'd be Jackie. My wife in a parallel universe. And as for you, Doctor, at least this time I know who you are.
The Ark is not of Dalek design.
And who built it?
The Time Lords. This is all that survives of their home world.
What's inside?
The future.
Oh my god.
Help us.
What? Close the breach? Stop the Cybermen? Defeat the Daleks? Do you believe I can do that?
Yes.
Maybe that's all I need. Off we go then.
God damn, I love him. I love him.
The god of all Daleks. And I destroyed him.
You will be exterminated.
Oh, now, hold on, wait a minute.
Yes.
Alert, alert. You are the Doctor. Sensors report he is unarmed.
That's me. I was there at the fall of Arcadia. Someday I might even come to terms with that. But you lot ran away!
Arcadia.
To survive.
I mean, Daleks don't have names, do they? But one of them said they were...
I am Dalek Thay, Dalek Sec, Dalek Just, Dalek Khan.
So that's it.
Dalek Khan.
At last.
Who are they?
A secret order. Above and beyond the Emperor himself. It is very good at opening doors.
Oh.
Placing impact.
No, but you can't! Pete!
You were left on your own. You didn't marry again, or
There was never anyone else.
Mickey.
Years, though.
you brought her up. Rose Tyler. That's not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, come here.
Why'd they need to get outside?
Time Lord Science? What Time Lord Science? What is it?
He called it a casket. Something in there.
Time Lord Science. It's bigger on the inside.
The Time Lords put those Daleks in there. What for?
It's a prison ship. Millions.
Holy shit.
What's the void?
The dead space. Some people call it hell.
So, you're sending the Daleks and Cybermen to hell? Man, I told you he was good.
This...
You'll be safe on that side.
And then you close it.
The breach itself is soaked in void stuff. In the end, it'll close itself. And that's it. Kaput.
But you stay on this side.
Well, you'll get pulled in.
That's why.
I'm supposed to go
Yeah.
to another world and then it gets sealed off.
Yeah.
Forever. That's not gonna happen.
Reboot in 1 minute.
I've had a life with you for 19 years. He does it alone, Mum. But not anymore.
Oh.
Because now he's got me.
You will never be able to see her again. Your own mother.
I made my choice a long time ago and I'm never gonna leave you. So what can I do to help?
Systems rebooted.
Emergency temporal shift!
Oh.
Offline. Online and locked.
Hold on!
Systems closed.
Last night I had a dream.
Rose.
I heard a voice and it was calling my name.
Rose.
Where are you?
Inside the TARDIS. There's one tiny little gap in the universe left. Just about to close. And it takes a lot of power to send this projection. I'm in orbit around a supernova. I'm burning up a sun just to say goodbye.
It's a projection, though.
Can I...
I'm still just an image. No touch.
Can't you come through properly?
Here you are. Living a life day after day. One adventure I can never have.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, I've got a TARDIS. Same old life, last of the Time Lords.
Sit. Just sit.
I love you.
It's quite right, too. And I suppose if it's my last chance to say it.
No, say it. Just say it before you...
Rose Tyler.
What? What?
Who are you? Where am I?
What?
What the hell is this place?
What?
yeah. Man, Catherine Tate as the bride. Okay, so that packed quite an emotional punch. They delivered a grand finale. And, they also delivered some heartbreaking and devastating intimacy in its conclusion, right? And I think the music played a big part in that. Actually, I think the music has been one of the standouts of this season. It's been really good. In episodes like The Girl in the Fireplace, The Impossible Planet, and The Satan Pit. This episode, it's been fantastic. Now, before I go any further, that scene of Catherine Tate's character, right at the end there, I think it came a bit too soon, for my liking at least. A bit misplaced, given the emotional goodbye the doctors just had to make, and us, the audience, as well. Rose, she was my first companion, right? So it was super sad to see her go, much like Eccleston. So I didn't quite like the placement of that scene or the inclusion altogether, to be honest. Listen, I get it. I get it. They have to, set up the next episode, right? They have to show the audiences, okay, this is the next step, right? The show must go on. I get that. But again, it just kind of felt a bit too immediate for my liking. I think I would have preferred the Doctor having that moment to himself, much like the ending to The Girl in the Fireplace. I think that would have been much more poignant if the Doctor had that moment to himself, and you let that kind of sit till the Christmas special. Again, that's just my take on it. Going back to the Doctor and Rose, the way they demonstrate their sadness is, quite interesting, right? There's a great contrast there. Opposite ends of the spectrum. On one end, you've got Rose, who is absolutely beside herself, right? Inconsolable as she slaps the wall. And then on the other end, you have the Doctor, who is his usual quiet self. And he's got, the single tear of despair, right? And that scene, the wall scene, oh my god, that was heartbreaking, that was powerful, and that was haunting. I feel like I'm never going to forget that frame of them being separated. That's one of those iconic images from the series, I think. Well, I've only seen two seasons, but I'm not going to forget that moment. I'm starting to think if it's even possible to have a completely happy or fulfilling separation from the Doctor, because how does one even go about facing the idea of stepping away from this amazing once in a lifetime type opportunity, right? Going back to School Reunion, Sarah Jane even said, after all those amazing things you showed me, how could anything else even compare, right? And it's been more the same for Rose. At no point did she, start showing signs of wanting out. She, in this season, she became even more enthralled with this lifestyle and increasingly more comfortable, right? She actually, started to embody the Doctor in a lot of these episodes in season 2. Hell, she even made the choice to leave her mom behind, right? She made that choice. And she told him that she made that choice a long time ago, right? So she was all in. It's even possible that at times companions might not even be able to realize or recognize that, this is probably a good time to move on, right? And can you blame them, right? Like, imagine being in that position. But, in that sense, I think it is. I could totally see the Doctor having to make that choice for them, right? But then again, that starts raising some ethical questions, right? Taking their choice away, or doing something that substantial without their consent. I think it's all part of being the Doctor, man. It's the curse of being the Doctor, having to make these kind of calls, and living with these kind of things. It reminds me of something he said to Rose in School Reunion. You can spend the rest of your life with me, but I can't spend the rest of my life with you, right? I have to go on, or have to keep going on alone, something like that. And I believe he called it the curse of the Time Lords, right? And at one moment in this episode, he even made the choice for Rose, right? The moment he said, "You have to go to Pete's world," oh my God, that hit me like a brick wall, man. Because all of a sudden, the realization set in that, oh, okay, this might be the beginning of the long goodbye, right? Before that, I was just so into the episode that I totally didn't even think about it. Like I forgot about that aspect of it, right? But then he said that and it hit me like a brick wall, man. And and it's possible that he might have thought that maybe Rose is moving on with her life now, or she's starting to move on with her life, and she might have picked up everything she needed to pick up from him, right? Much like he thought with Sarah Jane, right? But I still remember Sarah Jane's reply. She said, "You were my life," right? And that sentiment rings true for Rose as well. The Doctor is her life, or has become her life. And even beyond like the romantic aspect, these two have shared a lot of history together in a short time, right? They've risked their lives for each other. They've saved each other, right? They've had a lot of formative experiences together, right? And even going back to the cold open of the last episode, Rose is talking about how before the Doctor, her life was just this mundane existence, right? But that all changed. That all changed once she met the Doctor. So the Doctor completely changed her life around, right? Now, going back to the Doctor making the choice for Rose at one point in that episode, another thing to remember here is that one of the things the Doctor takes quite seriously is the promise he made to Jackie. He told her he's going to keep her safe, right? And he told her this before Rose joined him. And he reiterates that promise in the beginning of this episode, right? So I feel like that could also play a part in his decision there. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna move on to some of the other stuff in the episode because, of course, a lot of other interesting things happen. But then I'll return to Rose and the goodbye to bookend the season. Now, much like the last episode, this episode also had a attention-grabbing moment, right from the beginning. Quite an intriguing name drop, the Genesis arc, right? That's such an interesting name for a Dalek prison. Those two together, Genesis and Arc. But again, later on, there's this great moment as both the Cybermen and the Daleks realize that there seems to be another life form present, right? And the moments leading up to the face-off, oh my God, that was some great tension in there. And the standoff itself, so much fun. Neither one of them wanted to take orders from the other, right? And they started taking shots at each other, right? Some great banter. And the best bit, my favorite part was the Dalek telling the Cybermen that they are only better in one respect, that you're better at dying. And let's be honest here, it's spot on. The Daleks are far superior, and the Cybermen are not even in the same league as the Daleks, right? Now my understanding is that the Daleks have been around for a long time, right? Going back to season 1 and everything I learned there, they've been around for some time. And the Cybermen are still fairly new, right? I think I saw I saw their origin in this season, right? So they're still a new species. Can you call them that? So of course, the experience is, it's a big drop off here. But yeah, and speaking of Daleks, how about the Secret Order, man? The Cult of Skaro, how cool. And these Daleks had names. Dalek Khan gave me a good chuckle. And I believe one of them even had like a black coating or like a black finish. That's definitely a first. And this Black Dalek asked the Doctor a really interesting question, right? He asked the Doctor how he survived the Time War, right? And his answer really got me interested, because he said he fought on the front lines, or I survived by fighting on the front lines, and I was there at the fall of Arcadia. This is some intriguing stuff coming out now. They definitely need to go into that. I'm sure I'm going to learn more about this kind of stuff as as the series progresses. This show has been around for a long time, right? Decades. So the lore is probably immense, and that's one of the things I really want to, start getting into. Hopefully, in the coming seasons, some of the backstory of the Doctor. Even more so after the fall of Arcadia thing he just talked about. There was a great little moment as the Cybermen decided to team up with the humans to take on the Daleks for a bit, right? It's kind of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it kind of fostered a spontaneous sense of solidarity in that moment. But of course, soon after the initial surprise attack, the Daleks rendered the Cybermen useless real quick. They took care of them. They're far superior, right? That's so clear at this point. But one of the standout moments of the episode, I think it was as Jackie got to meet other Pete, right? I thought that was a beautiful scene. It was a long time coming, and Jackie deserved that. I think she really deserved that scene. Now, of course, there is a bit of a strange feeling as well to that scene, knowing that this isn't really her Pete, right? It is a Pete, but it's not, her Pete. But again, they're similar enough if you can get over that, that notion that, it's not the exact same Pete, but he's same for the most part. But yeah, it's hard not to feel happy for her in that moment, right? And on that point, that also means, since Rose is departing, that also means that these other characters that are attached to Rose are also signing off. So that has me kind of sad as well. Characters like Mickey, who I love at this point, right? They gave him a fantastic arc in this season. Characters like Jackie, who's been a great comic foil in this show so far. And then characters like Pete, like constant characters, or characters that have appeared constantly throughout these first two seasons that I've been used to now. But yeah, this is probably going to be the most, well, it is the most dramatic shift since I started watching the show, because at this point, everyone from season 1 is gone, right? The only constant is the Doctor, and even the Doctor is a regenerated Doctor, right? Now, circling back to Rose, and that goodbye, and going back to the cold open of the last episode, part of her does die, right? It's in the emotional sense. Yes, her new life is a big improvement from the one she's describing in the cold open of the last episode, right? A boring existence and all, but this new life is going to be much better than that. But of course, I do think there's always going to be a bit of a hole in her life, this longing that might never subside, right? And the Doctor kind of cutting out or disappearing right before he got his final thoughts out, yeah, that just adds to it even more, right? And you can see it in his face as the transmission ended, and he's got like the tears rolling down his face. I actually had the same expression on my face as him at that point. You could see that he regrets not saying it earlier, and that's the kind of thing that lingers in your mind for a long time. And as we know, the Doctor doesn't quite age like humans do, so it's a tough pill to swallow for him. But that being said, surely they're gonna have to bring Rose in at some point somehow, much like Sarah Jane, right? I mean, I know he said it's impossible, but it's a Doctor, right? This is Doctor Who. Like, I don't think anything's like impossible. Especially given the fact that she's part of Torchwood now, right? So, they have they're always experimenting and learning about alien technology and new things, new crazy things coming through. So, I'd be quite shocked if she doesn't, show up again at some point. I certainly hope so. Kind of maybe get closure like Sarah Jane got closure, right? But yeah, that's season 2 of Doctor Who. Again, a thoroughly satisfying conclusion to the season. Again, like I said in the beginning, it was a grand finale, but it also gave us some great intimate moments in the end there. And like I was just saying, it is a goodbye to a lot of really great characters. And it does feel like going forward, I'm kind of going into something completely new at this point, right? The only constant is the Doctor. So I'm happy about that. At least I have that. So now he's going to have to surround himself with new people, right? New characters that are going to come into his life. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But, they have, the bar's been set pretty high. It's a decent bar. So let's see if these characters can match up to the ones I'm just saying goodbye to at this point. Now, before I sign off, I think I'll do my top 5 of the season. I can say without a doubt that The Girl in the Fireplace is the best episode of the series. Not just the season, of the series. For me, it is the best episode of the series. It was just beginning to end, just perfect. The perfect standalone episode. That's gonna take some topping, man. That's set the bar real high. And friends tell me all the time, and you guys have told me before, there's some amazing episodes in this series. So, that's an exciting prospect in itself, that there could be other episodes that might even top this one for me. But, at this point in time, that is the best episode of the series. So it automatically makes it the best episode of this season, right? At number 2, I'm definitely going to put The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. Fantastic 2-parter. That, oh my god, just right from the beginning, I knew I'm going to love this because, I love deep space, stories that are based in deep space. And just, that 2-parter was just brilliant, man. Really enjoyed that one. Again, the music in that, just really good. Just like The Girl in the Fireplace. And then number 3, I'll put the finale 2-parter, right? The Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. That was also a great 2-parter. And then on 4 and 5, in 4th and 5th, I think I'll put. I actually quite enjoyed Tooth and Claw. I actually really enjoyed that. Again, that comes from the fact, probably because I really enjoy period pieces. I said that earlier in the season. So, anytime I get the Doctor and Rose, or I guess even in the future, the Doctor and future companions going back in time, and it's a period piece episode, there's a good chance I'll probably end up liking those kind of episodes. Actually, never mind. Let's switch that up. I'm going to put Tooth and Claw at number 5, and at number 4, I'm going to put School Reunion. School Reunion was a great episode, man. It kind of, I think for the first time in the series, for me at least, it gave me a connection from the past, from the old school Doctor Who, right? It brought in Sarah Jane, and, it gave me some context about another companion, because up until that point, I only knew Rose, right? So it was great to get some, some insight from a past companion, right? And that episode, I think that episode actually played a big part in, the setup to this episode as well. It kind of got me ready for a goodbye, my first goodbye to a companion. And, a lot of the same things kind of played out here as well. Now I've seen 2 companions, and both companions, it didn't really end off in a happy note, or on a happy note, sorry. But again, Sarah Jane did get to come back in, and she did get the closure she needed. So, I'm hoping the same kind of thing happens for Rose. Again, Rose's goodbye, it wasn't as, as abrupt as Sarah Jane's, right? But again, I feel like it wasn't the perfect goodbye either, right? And so yeah, you know, I really do hope they bring her back in at some point, much like Sarah Jane came back in for that one episode. But yeah, so that's season 2. You know, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of standout episodes in that. You know, as I mentioned, my top 5 there. I cheated a bit because I, you know, made the 2 parties into one episode. But you know, that's what half the season basically, right? That I really enjoyed. You know, there's a few episodes I didn't really enjoy that much, but for the most part, a lot of good stuff in there. But yeah, you know, I think I'll end it off by saying something Sarah Jane said to Rose in School Reunion. Some things are worth getting your heart broken for. All right, thank you for checking that out. I'll see you soon.